let's begin with an update on the corporate story that we've been tracking on the show, which is the fight between Future Retail / Reliance and Amazon, which has been making its way through the courts of India and an international arbitration court in Singapore as well. Well, today was Kishore Bayani's turn to heave a sigh of relief as the Delhi High Court lifted the status quo that another bench of the Delhi High Court had put in place on the deal going ahead. So what does this mean for Future Retail and Reliance? Is the battle over? Before we get to that, let me go across to my colleague Abhimanyu, who has been attending all the court proceedings and following the legal angles on this for what has happened in court today. Abhimanyu?
In a relief for Future Retail, a division bench of the Delhi High Court has stayed the single judge bench order which was passed in the first week of February, which had put brakes on the Future Retail Reliance deal. The interim order by the division bench has noted that the single judge passed orders prima facie without having all proper parties before it. Prima facie, the court has held that Amazon had no reason to seek a status quo order from the single judge when it was not interested in the deal. The Delhi High Court has added that statutory authorities like SEBI and CCI cannot be restrained from performing their roles, while Amazon and Future Retail have been asked to wait till final orders of the single judge bench. While lifting the status quo on the deal, the court observed that Amazon was not a party to the agreement between Future Coupons and Future Retail, and observed that the group entity doctrine cannot be invoked in this particular case. Also, the court made it clear that no party can be restrained from proceeding in accordance with law, and the final decision on the deal will be taken only when the single judge passes the reserved order. The division bench stated that it is not inclined to adjudicate issues raised at this stage as the reserved order is yet to be passed. Statutory authorities cannot be stopped from proceeding with the deal. Amazon sought to extend status quo for a week to appeal against the High Court order. However, the court's division bench is going to continue detailed hearing on Future Retail's petition from February 26.
All right, a very quick summary on what the story is all about before we go ahead. So Amazon signed a deal with Future Coupons, a part of the Future Group, and Future Coupons happens to have a stake in Future Retail. Now, Amazon claims that one of the conditions of their deal was that if Future Retail was ever to sell any stake, they should ask Amazon first, and there was a list of people who Future Retail couldn't sell to, which included Reliance Industries. When the pandemic hit, an already debt-laden Future Group was pushed to the brink and went in and sold its retail business in a slump sale to Reliance Industries for about 24,000 crore rupees. Amazon has taken this to a Singapore International Arbitration Center, which put a stop to these proceedings for now, and that is what both sides are fighting in Indian courts. But remember, it's a story and it's a case with wide ramifications and implications for how deals are done in this country and the sanctity of international orders and arbitration courts as well. So putting all of that in perspective for us today is Sanjay Hegde, Senior Advocate in the Supreme Court. Sanjay, great to have you on the show. What leg of the battle are we in, and right now, who's coming out on top? Is it Amazon or the Future Group?
Well, the war isn't over, and the battle's victory keeps changing hands. At one stage, Amazon won before single judge. Today, the division bench has upturned the single judge. And going by the fact that Amazon's lawyers asked for a week's stay of the division bench judgment, obviously to go up in appeal to the Supreme Court, I would say that the last battle has not yet been fought. Having said all that, at the end of the day, we also would have to look at this issue as not merely an Amazon versus Reliance and Future Retail fight. There's also the question of the sanctity of international arbitrations. Now, there is an international arbitration tribunal which has given an emergency award. What does the emergency award say? Stay your hands on the deal. How is that award to be implemented in India? That was the entire question. It went up before one single judge earlier. that single judge, while saying that it is part of the that the emergency award could be implemented in India, made certain other observations. Then there was a specific application filed under 17(2) of the Arbitration Act. There, the single judge had ordered status quo, which, without giving its reasons for the order, and today the division bench has upturned it. I think that we still haven't heard the last of the story.
Yeah. You know, why it's also interesting in terms of precedent, one, the fact that you mentioned that what is the sanctity of an international arbitration agreement between two parties in the Indian legal system. And the second is the whole concept of group of companies, isn't it? Amazon essentially had a deal with Future Coupons. Future Retail's argument in court is that a deal between Future Coupons and Amazon cannot be foisted upon me. So from that perspective as well, is this sort of a benchmark case?
Of course, a lot of good law gets laid down in good fights, top level counsel on both sides. Ultimately, there are two corporate entities, Future Retail, Future Coupons, yes, but there are occasions when the corporate veil can be pierced. Amazon has a deal with Future Coupons. The Singapore Arbitral Tribunal treated it as one group. Today, arguments have been made in India that look, Future Retail and Future Coupons may have a deal, but Amazon is no person to enforce that particular deal. I again come back to the same line, that there will definitely be a battle in the Supreme Court, and we do not know whether the Supreme Court would deal with it only at an interim stage, or there would be a detailed judgment later.
You know, the question really is, how long can Future Group hold off with the dire financial straits they're in? And this is one of the arguments they've made as well. But it's a case that we're tracking very closely. Thank you so much, Sanjay Hegde, for joining us today and analyzing this leg of the battle. As Sanjay Hegde said, the war is still being fought. It depends on who's winning the battle at this point. As of today, Kishore Biyani and Future Group have had a good day in court, an upper hand, so to speak.